Marketing exec wants to shift Verizon's transactional image into one more tied to people's lives. And yes, that's the Verizon we're thinking of. Verizon Communications has long enjoyed its position as a leading provider of mobile services in the US, but a new trend of price-conscientious customers holding on to their old phones has hurt the bottom line for telecom companies seeking to capitalize off the sale of new mobile phone lines. Enter Verizon Chief Marketing Officer Leslie Berland, who joined the telecom giant in January. She was Twitter's first chief marketing officer nearly a decade ago and spent about a year at Peloton after leaving the social media platform in 2022. She started at Verizon in January and announced the company's first rebrand in 9 years, including a bold update to the iconic checkmark logo. The rebrand has been paired with a fresh promotion of Verizon's My Plan platform, which allows customers to pick and pay for select services. Verizon also announced partnerships with streaming services such as Netflix and Disney to offer promotional bundles. Berland spoke to the Associated Press about the strategy behind the rebrand and why it's necessary to keep the company growing. This transcript has been edited down for length and clarity because it's rather long, but Verizon is an extremely well-known brand in the country. I think it's at about 99% awareness. And what research will show you is that we're seen as respected, trusted, reliable brand and company, and that it's a dream state for any company, big or small. But what we also found is because so much of what Verizon does is invisible, you don't get to see it and don't feel it. The service just works. And so we saw in the research, there's a sort of distance between the brand and the consumer. So yes, we're a telecom company, but we're also a life company. But people don't think of us in their day-to-day life. So the challenge for us is to make our invisible visible and bring forward the things that we do in a meaningful and authentic way and show the role we play in people's lives. The other thing that we looked at is from a marketing perspective and advertising perspective is the telecom space, where over time it's become a sea of sameness. A lot of our language is the same, the formats are very similar, a lot of the creative is similar. So it is really our opportunity now to be very bold and really break through in a way that is meaningful to the consumer. And this is from ABC News. So I've got huge opinions about this, and we were kind of talking about this off camera a little bit because we were excited to talk about it on camera, so we chomping at the bit. Mm-hmm. Verizon, let's talk about the product life cycle of a company right quick. We've got 4 major categories of a company's life cycle. You've got Genesis, and Aaron's gonna probably be looking at this.
Yeah, I'll bring this up in a moment.
You've got Genesis, which is like startup. No one knows about you, you're doing very innovative things, you're solving new problems. Genesis, custom built. So you're expensive, but you're available. It's a little bit more tested. Great. Like there's a little bit more commercialization on it. Then you turn into an actual product. We're like, great, off the shelf. I can pick this up. I can buy it. It's cool. And then you've got a commodity, a utility, and that's like tap water. Everyone's got it. You still have to buy it. It's electricity. It's I would consider most businesses that are in telecom to be commodity utility-based businesses. You're not doing anything. People don't need to be taught new things. You don't make anything custom. The product is well-defined. People know what you do. Great. You are on the scale of product. Great. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah. So as Matt was walking you through, the stages start on the left of this chart and move towards the right.
Yes.
As the products become more mature. It's also worth noting, typically, there is more room for a product to be highly visible and stand out on the left when it's novel and exciting. When something becomes a commodity, brand is much less important.
I buy my natural gas, not exciting. I need it. I buy my electricity, not exciting. I need it. My water, I need it. A whole bunch of things. You do it every day. You do it all day, every day. You interact with those brands. They're normally very big brands. They're huge brands. They're like S&P 500, Forbes top one. They're huge brands that you have to be a massive brand to get on the right. They're huge. They're talking billions of dollars because it's a fundamental operation of society.
Telecom companies are an interesting one too, because people tend to become attached to their telecom companies in a way that they don't become attached to their natural gas provider.
Yeah. If they've even got they're definitely not as attached because
the reasons they become attached
are
right. It's because
completely.
It's because these companies have excellent promotional deals, and you're locked into a payment and renewal cycle on your smartphone.
Yeah.
It's because they were quicker or slower to jump on government regulations around unlimited data caps.
They are able to go to a certain cell phone provider and say it's exclusively the iPhone 2085 is exclusively at Bell.
Yep.
Great, and you get it 2 weeks early. Great, yeah, you're going to attract some customers.
There are some technical things that can make people get really picky about their provider, like coverage area.
Coverage is important.
So like the quality of the product and the quality of the customer service, because there are telecom providers that are notorious for horrible customer service and have built a reputation by doing the wrong things, and so are driving customers away that way. What we're driving at is I don't see a lot of consumers adopting a telecom provider because of a rebrand.
No.
Because that company has decided that they're a life company and not just a telecom company. Not even with a bold new logo. And I want to bring that up as well.
The bold new logo
talk several
certainly
times
is bold.
about how bold the logo is. And when you compare the new logo to the old logo, it's basically the same font, if not exactly the same font. They've removed the check mark, changed the color, and added a slight gradient
On the V.
on the V.
Doesn't that make you feel
It's
lifestyle?
bold, it's exciting. Well, I mean, like even the slight gradient on the logo. So it's the same as Netflix now. Like we see
something.
this all the time
Yeah.
in big corporate logos. This is not new.
Now, we were not expecting anything crazy because this is a $1 billion company and they weren't
Yeah.
going to go and rebrand. Like, no, they weren't going to do that. They were not, you don't expect red to deviate from the red. It's not going to happen. So like a rebrand is like, take that as with a grain of salt. It's not like a small business rebranding or even medium cap business rebranding. They were never going to do something that was like, oh my God, we're blowing the stack off this thing. No, it's going to be an 8%
I mean, we do
shift.
see major shifts in large companies now and then. Right?
Some.
Like the shift from HBO Max just becoming Max,
Just becoming Max, that was bigger.
right? Well, especially
that
with
was
like
bigger, yeah.
how well known was the HBO brand
huge.
prior to that. So like it happens once in a while, but no,
Big
you're right.
ones,
Most
Ernest
big
and Young
companies-
just turning into EY,
Yeah.
shortening it, like just completely modernizing the word. There's been a few. Both of those companies I think are smaller than, but still.
And those are both
they're big.
changes that I would describe as bold.
Yep, those would be bold. Yep.
Changing,
But they're not changing their marketing to say, oh, we're not no longer the maker. You don't view us as the same maker of great shows that you've always had. We're also
a life company.
we're also a life company. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that's a stretch.
This was a pretty buzzwordy
Yeah, this is a stretch.
address to this topic. What even is the difference between a telecom company and a life company?
Yeah, I have no clue what they like. I don't. Their definition. I don't want my telecom company to be my life company. I want my telecom company to bring me information through the internet or on my cell phone, and then I really don't want them anywhere else in my life. I don't want them. I don't want big data on my. Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't want them anymore.
Companies
Yeah.
need to learn to stay in their lane.
Yeah.
And they need to promote themselves for what they're good at and stop trying to be other things. This drove me nuts. We are seeing a concert this weekend. And we're very excited for the concert, but I bought my tickets through Ticketmaster. And I don't know how new this is, but this is the first time I've seen it. Ticketmaster did not send me my tickets by email.
No, you have to use their platform to access the tickets.
You have to use the app now.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it.
It
I
sucks.
was so angry.
sucks.
And when you open the app and you look at the page of the app that displays your ticket, the barcode for your ticket has a little flashing light graphic that scrolls back and forth over the barcode, so that if you screenshot it,
It doesn't.
it won't register. So that you have to have the app open in order to attend your concert or your event or whatever you've bought the tickets for. That is so wildly anti-consumer.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Even from Ticketmaster, who is a notoriously horrible company. It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is more useless apps installed on my
Control
phone.
more of the market.
I'm
It's
not
like
going to be
monopolistic.
browsing the Ticketmaster app going, oh, what new events are coming out for me? I better enable push notifications so that
My Ticketmaster app can send me text messages. Yeah, don't. So there is marketing that has come through this, and Aaron and I were looking at this off camera as well, like about like how they were using their logo in various ways in terms of like, oh, there's a whole side of this, and how they were promoting their new bundles with Netflix and Disney.
Yeah.
And we had a good laugh about this. Does the Netflix deal just sound like cable TV?
Yeah. So I'll highlight the specific part of what we're talking about. So the rebrand's been paired with fresh promotion of Verizon's My Plan platform, which allows customers to pick and pay for selected services. Verizon also announced a partnership with streaming services such as Netflix and Disney to offer promotional bundles. Well, they're talking about a bold new rebrand to promote the future of the company. Telecom providers bundling entertainment packages is not new.
No, that's been around for the invention of telecom providers almost.
Yeah, this is the cable.
This cable model.
Cable, like this is.
Oh, you want this channel, you want that package, you want the sports thing, yada yada yada, and it's like the whole point of the whole movie of cutting the cord was getting rid of that so I could just have Netflix when it was $9.99.
Yeah.
And now I didn't have to have a cable provider, a telecom provider in the house. I had my internet, and I don't have to opt into cable. I can use other platforms. And now they're trying to say, oh yeah, you do need cable again. You want it's convenience.
Well,
it's you can go to the My Plan platform.
I'm okay with them. I'm okay with them offering the service. I'm okay with that. What bothers me is trying to frame it as a bold new offering from a bold new version of the company, when it's not. It's the same stuff you've always done.
It's the same stuff.
And I think the running theme we're seeing in a lot of the content we're discussing today is marketing people being disingenuine in how they're presenting the things they're advertising, and you don't need to do it.
So let's walk this back. Let's go back to Aaron's chart with the Wardley mapping. Cool. If they had said, we're doing a brand new rebrand, we're going to do the same thing. We're a life company. What does life company mean? Life company means we are going to have the best customer service on the planet. We will be the telecom provider that you love, not the one that you hate. We are going to do a better job at customer service than anyone else. And then because everyone's dealt with it, everyone's called their thing, and why is this not working? Or I've got an overage on my bill and I don't have to press one. I've got a live agent in a minute. Great. That is super visible. So we would be on the right side of the chart at the very top corner. Great. Wow. I just got off the phone with Verizon. They solved my issue. Wow, they're giving me a $10 credit on next month. That was fantastic. I didn't wait online. And you know what's going to happen? Those conversations are going to start blossoming, and you're going to tell, oh yeah, I had to call my whatever, and it was great. That's the marketing working. And then your friend's going to say, oh, I'm with X and Y, and every time I have to deal with them, it's terrible. Huh. Focus on the things that your company should be good at. No company should be going, we're not going to put effort into, like if our core business model is relying on a B2C transaction, focusing on the C is really important.
Well, it's really straightforward. They are a company that's over here in the commodity space.
Yep.
And they are trying to present themselves as a company that is over here.
Oh, yes.
In the
new life company
Genesis
space.
Yeah.
Yes. And if I don't even know how they would do that. Like there's no, like again, you're not inventing anything new. There was nothing new that came from this. A partnership with Netflix isn't new. Offering the same coverage and service area isn't new. There's no new. You've changed. The red in your logo is barely a new red.
Yeah. Like
so yeah. It's hard to claim. Now this is we've read articles. Oh, it's wildly successful. That time will tell. Are people actually going to be wise up to it? Who knows? But again, from a marketing perspective and how this is relevant to small businesses and medium-sized businesses, you actually need to focus on what your customer cares about. And I don't think that they're focusing on this article. They're caring about what the company cares about. They're caring about, oh, we want to be seen a different way. Mm-hmm. Well, what available ways can we be seen?
And
we want to be seen as the best at what?
It can be tough as a marketing person because, like, credit to the marketing agency, they focused on things the client cares about.
Yeah, they did their job.
Clients.
Not the client's clients. No, the goals were set incorrectly.
What really matters is what the client's clients care about.
Yeah.
But if you're a marketing agency trying to sell more branding to more big companies and you can keep their executive team really happy,
Yep.
well, that's going to turn into more work.
That's going to turn into more work. Yeah. I've got opinions on where the exec came from and all that, but like I don't think this is going to be worth the paper and ink that it was used to print. Like this is not.
Let alone the copious amounts of money I'm sure were paid to the big branding agency that handled the rebrand.
Yeah, and this was a major brand. You can find them easily online.
And they've done nice work. They did a bunch of work for Amazon.
Amazon, Coca-Cola, like they're a big one. They're one of the big ones. And it's just again, they were hired to do a job. They got their brief. They executed well. I think the marketing executive at Verizon set the goals. They're the one controlling the goalposts. They're saying, "Hey, I'm hiring you a third-party contractor. I need you to help me do X." Well, that X just needs a better definition.
Let's be very fair to that marketing exec. This is not a marketing campaign. This is a rebrand.
It's a rebrand,
which means there were probably a lot of other cooks in the kitchen from Verizon that had strong opinions on how this needed to be handled.
Yep.
And who knows how much that got in the way of actually making any kind of bold changes.
I'm hoping. Well, I see the word CMO there, and there's not too many people above the CMO, and I don't know how this company's run and their board structure and everything like that. But rule one when marketing is you try to remove every other cook from the kitchen, period. Or that meal is going to be a disaster.
It does depend on who you talk to. There are a lot of agencies out there that like strongly believe in doing a bunch of focus groups and like heavily testing all the information to get as many opinions as possible. We don't have any one of them.
No.
We like to rely on experts making expert recommendations. And if the client wants to start making lateral moves or negative moves, we'll warn them. But that's ultimately their choice.
That's their choice.
But yeah, there are totally marketing agencies out there that are big on like, oh, well, how is that design validated? Who did you focus that with?
This is a question that I'd just like to ask the audience is, what would they actually need to do for you to consider them a life company?
That's a great question.
What would a company, like what would they have to, what would your natural gas provider have to do to convince you that they're super empowered? You know, there's a really easy way. They just shut off your gas. Oh, I am important suddenly? Oh yeah, when you don't have, but the goal is to show how you're empowering the world. We are, if I wanted to bring visibility, I would say, I want to show the scale. We connect 100 million Americans every day. Some of the best phone calls you'll ever have will be on our network. You know, the grandchildren talking to the grandparents for the first time over I'm going to show all of that, how we actually are in your life. I still won't view them as a life company.
Yeah.
It's like, great, this is tap water. I'm going to pick up the phone. It's going to work. The news is going to be on my, and when these companies.
For a commodity company to be viewed as a life company, they would have to do a lot of things that as a consumer, I have no interest in them doing.
No.
Like Ticketmaster deciding that they need to have an app on my phone for me to be able to view tickets, which I used to be able to print.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
That's activity.
So don't do that.
I don't want the company doing to insert themselves into more areas of my life. Big companies, stop doing this.
Yeah.
How does marketing for very large companies compare to marketing for small businesses?
I think it's, for large companies, it's way more forgiving. Because
interesting. I think that's a hot take.
I think it's a little bit more forgiving because if you do something as a small company, it can almost put you out of business. If you really screw something up, it'll be very detrimental to your bottom line, and you might not have the funds to suffer the consequences of your actions. The way it works in bigger business, you can make a lot of mistakes and limp on for a long time and then die. So I think there's less leniency. It's hard to say. Bigger companies can frame it as there's no such thing as bad press because they just say, oh yeah, it was a terrible rebrand and great, we got a zillion more eyeballs and we'll factor it into the next thing and I can roll with it. If a small business does that, they never get to capitalize on the mistake.
Yeah,
it's
that's a
harder
good
to
point.
capitalize on the mistake. So it's yeah. When we're talking about the dollar figures and the percentages, they can lose way more than the small business was ever valued in 100 lifetimes, but they can suffer the consequences of a larger mistake and still carry on. Where a small business, I don't think gets the benefit of doing that. So it can seem like a much larger deal to a smaller business because I think the stakes are higher because there is death can happen.
I also think if the companies are being smart, they should be focusing on separate things.
They should. Yep.
Like most small businesses aren't going to benefit a heck of a lot from this kind of rebrand.
No.
Be like reframed as a different type of company. Refocus on your base. Advertise the things you're really good at.
Is your name clear? Do
Yeah.
people understand it? Did you shift
Well, I
in
mean,
the first 10 years of what you were doing?
Even beyond the name, because like that's getting to like nitty gritty rebrand
Yeah.
stuff. Is your value proposition clear?
Yeah.
Does your website tell people what your company actually does?
Yeah.
Do you
So-
have landing pages and ads pointing to them? Like really basic nuts and bolts things.
Yeah. Are you? Oh yeah. Do you have? Are your key products? Is your ICP like really worked out? Do people know, like? Again, I see your name on the side of the truck going down the road, and you're in the small town. Do I immediately recognize what you do? You might not be available in every city across whatever, Ontario, Canada, whatever, but like, are you well known and established in the areas that you can have a presence? And it's like, focus on those things. Where, again, Verizon, they've got the money. They'll put their logo at center ice for the next hockey game, and they're not going to attribute any single sale they have. No one is buying a Ford truck because the Ford logo is on the hockey rink, but it's brand recognition over and over and over that these bigger businesses get to play on. Smaller companies can't do. They cannot dedicate the dollars to non-revenue generating activities. They're not measuring. No small company, and this is up here. I think we have 99% awareness across markets. Most small businesses aren't even measuring that period. It's not a KPI that they should even worry about. What is my awareness across my entire?
No idea.
No, they shouldn't worry about it. It's like, great, I'm going to measure my awareness within my like key partner network.
Sure.
How many people in my local network know about me and everything? How many referrals am I getting? But like, even on the medium scale, you're probably not even international yet.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's the hot take on the branding. Go check it out. It's a fun logo, a little tweak to the logo. Overall, I don't think it's going to achieve what...
If I can share some final thoughts on this, I don't want to give the impression that we think we'd have done a better job on the rebrand.
No. It's not about the work. It's not about the work. I think it's about the idea that this was even possible in the first place.
Well,
It's
we have told clients before, you don't need a rebrand. Your logo's fine. We don't think you're going to get any value out of this change. What are you doing? We'd rather put your dollars somewhere more effective.
somewhere else. You could have taken the same dollars and put it into your customer service and gone, huh.
Yeah.
Again, bigger companies have budget for things like this. Yeah, we've already got sales dollars over there. This is the budget for brand. Again, most small and medium-sized companies do not have separate budgeting for that. So absolutely, if they said no, we've budgeted for this. We have to refresh every 9 years, whatever it is, yada yada yada. Okay, great.
Yep. We'd have helped them do the rebrand.
We'd have helped them do it, but we would have all been on the same page before we started.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Which
cool.
maybe they were. Again, we don't know anything about that internal process.
Well, I can't wait for Verizon to just be a life brand to me because I just can't. I'm something it's so excited about. I can't wait to feel like they're more in my life.